G'day folks. Well, since it's a bit windy to be filming outside, I figured I'd address these plasma TV issues. I've got quite a few plasmas sitting around, and these 32-inch Hitachis are the first on my list. This is a mangled up one that I found at the scrap metal yard. The panel seems to be completely intact, but the unit is completely dead. Absolutely no power. So I'm hoping the panel unit itself is fine, because I have an identical unit with a bad panel, or at least the drive boards on it are bad, because I get reddish multicolored lines down the panel. These are notorious for bad panels, and I'm hoping this one's alright. It might have suffered a power surge and blown the power supply, but if the panel itself is alright, I'll be making a good one out of the two in this video. So let's get this casing off and go from there. The AV input block comes out, or module comes out as a whole unit. You just take these screws out and the whole thing slides out and unplugs. And then you just remove all the screws from the outer housing, back panel. Most of these are already out because I've had this apart before. But you just remove all the screws from the outer housing and the whole thing will come apart. There's another two there, or one. Don't take them out because they're part of the AV module. That'll just slide out as it is, but the ones with the double arrows on them are the ones you have to remove. This one is wall mounted, so there's no stand for it anyway. Okay, well, there's a lot of equipment in these things compared with an LCD. I'm kind of interested to see why this thing's dead. I'll power it up and just put my multimeter across these leads and just see if I've got power going to the power supply. I mean, there's a fuse there, so it could easily be a blown fuse, but something's probably taken it out. So it's just odd that there's no standby, although that capacitor doesn't look very good. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if the 5-volt standby has gone down. Yeah. Either way, if this is the only issue with it, I'll definitely make one out of the two. I'm just going to strip all of this back and swap the boards out. Disconnect the panel. I'm not going to use the sustain boards. I'm just interested in the main drive boards and the edge strips. The drive and sustain strips, which are, in this case, it's part of the panel, so if they go bad, they're bad. Anyway, let's break this thing down a bit. Okay, well, working along. This is the scrapyard unit. Badly damaged casing and everything, not usable. This is the one that I had out in the carport, and I changed out the digital board. This little panel driver board, I suppose you call it a T-con board. Didn't change anything, so both of those boards are good. I'm going to change out the whole panel assembly now. This one here seems to have a dead power supply, so I've dismounted that one and I'll carefully remove it. But yeah, there's a hell of a lot of parts in these things compared with a LCD. I'll give them that much. They know how to cram semiconductors into one little package. So many semiconductors. So many. Just crazy. They're Texas Instruments chips. It's amazing. All made in Japan too. This is a Japanese made plasma. This isn't a cheapo. And they weigh a ton. This thing weighs as much as a modern 42-inch or 50-inch plasma. It's crazy. But yeah, the power supply is blown. It's got no standby voltage, which is related to regulator and those caps in there. But I'm just going to lift the whole panel module out and use it to make the other one good. So it should be good. When the other one dies, well, they're all rubbish. Scrap metal, whatever. Although that cap looks like it's gotten a bit hot. Who knows. I might even pop the boards out of the other one and swap them over, but I'm guessing the problem's on this board here, or two boards. Okay, so a little bit of a mix and match part unit now. This is the panel from the scrapyard unit with the dead power supply. The board is off the same unit. The X and Y sustain boards are from the working unit with the bars down the screen, the good one. Same with the front panel and everything like that, the one I want to rebuild. So I'm just mixing and matching parts and hoping for the best. If it doesn't work, well, I can only pull boards and things out and just swap them over again. I know the other one had a dead power supply, so either way I'm going to end up with something that works. It can't go too bad. If it does, well, at least I'll have 2 panels for target practice or microwave transformering. Like I said before, I got tons and tons of plasma TVs and parts and things. There's just way too many of them. Given the price of a decent LCD like the Sharp Aquos 46-inch 3D LED lit sets, it's almost not worth the trouble to repair some of these things, especially the early standard def plasmas, not LEDs but plasmas. But just for the hell of it, I like these Hitachis. I want to fix my original Hitachi that Mum paid about $8,000 for back in the day. It'd be really nice to get that working again because it's still a nice set. I sort of like the old CRT sets. They look really good. They're not HD, but when you're sitting back in a decent sized living room, they do their job and they look good. And Hitachi plasmas always did. Same with TIAC used Fujitsu Hitachi panels. Sony, I don't think Sony had plasmas. Samsung were always a bit shit and they got worse. Oh, I think they're getting better now, but they still had lots of issues. I'm throwing out so many Samsung plasmas. Same with LGs. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get this thing back together again. I want to see if this thing works. Oh yes. Oh, it's not often I win against a plasma, but yeah, when you got a couple of spare parts units that are completely different, like fault-wise, it's always good to make a good one out of the lot. No more lines. Considering this panel, the panel itself had been, well, very well abused at the scrapyard, Hitachi's own way of mounting it in its chassis preserved it, and this thing works fine. Where's my remote control? I don't know where the remote control is, but I'm sure if I... yeah. Even just selecting a blank channel, you can't see any more vertical lines. So the PDP module is fine. The other one, it's just either the drive boards along the bottom edge of it, or it's the chip-on film edge devices for the panel itself. So yes, a good working 32-inch Hitachi plasma. Let's finish putting it back together again. I still have to connect the audio boards and things like that, or the audio connectors, these things. Not hard. And yeah, put the speakers and everything back on. This one has speakers, it has a stand and back cover, everything like that. Clean the stand up. And yeah, it should be good. It's rather dirty at the moment, but give everything really good clean up, and that will be a nice little runner. I'll keep that in my living room and get the 42-inch version of this out here for repair very shortly. Alright, all back together again, and no more nasty coloured lines down the panel. Fantastic. Let's see how well this goes on DVD, which is, yeah, it's loaded and working. There is input AV1. Yes! Fear Factory. It's a nice clear picture too. Oh, channel select. Remote needs a good clean. On menu. Ah, there we go, it works very well. Music video DVD, not the best quality again, but it works. But I missed a, I think I either missed a connector or I got one off the scrapyard unit, which may not have had audio processing built into it. Though it does look like there was one. Yeah, I can't really remember. No, it does still have the audio processor, I just don't have audio on this panel, so I'm going to work out what I've neglected to connect. It's probably a power connector to the audio board because everything else is connected. I know I connected the speakers, but there might be a connector tucked under one of the boards that I missed. So yeah, display works perfectly fine. I just need to restore audio, and it'll be a nice little runner for somebody. Probably my dad in his or the guest room, I guess. Yeah, nice little display panel. The colours are supposed to be like that. It is a music video DVD, so you got to expect that. It actually works very, very well.